Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I wanted to talk about a lot of things. I have so for starters, I spoke to this a little bit about how I feel, what I'm going through, where my mental is at the moment. If you haven't watched the latest Tomodachi Life video, you won't really understand what I'm referring to. So, I feel like I mentioned this quite a lot, but I think it is important to make that distinction and make sure that people understand that when I talk about things, it is not a direct thing. And if I do so, it is because it's something that is already in the works. So it's not some unresolved thing. It is either current or past tense. And I think that's really, really important for me to give that distinction because I don't want anybody to sit and think and feel that I am feeling some type of way towards them without coming to them. The most important thing to me and what represents who I am as a person is very much the fact that there is a level of transparency, that there is a level of communication. And it is immensely important to me that people know that. Now, I might say some things in videos that haven't been spoken about or referred to, or that I've not yet gone through with the people that I'm currently having some sort of situation with, or that I'm dealing with. But it is never coming from out of nowhere, you know? And it is something that will be talked about. Now, the reason why I can also refer to these things are because whether or not it is with someone specific or it is something that is ongoing, it's a part of life. It is something that the majority of people can understand and relate to. And that's not to take the sacred value of what should stay private and put it out in public. It is more so something that a lot of other people have probably gone through or that they've experienced in their life and that they can relate to. And because I don't go into detail about things and I don't out anybody, I think the biggest thing and the heaviest reassuring factor is that I'm speaking in a general sense, right? Because we're all different and we all have different perspectives. Disagreements and misalignments usually come from a personality point of view. So when I'm also sitting and talking about things, it's not that I believe that I'm more right than anybody else or that my perspective is grander, bigger, and better than everybody else's. I think again, this is a vulnerable moment for me, so I'm sorry if I'm not really clear or seem hesitant. I think the more that you as a person believe, the harder it is to see other people's point of view. Now I'm also a very lackadaisical type of person when it comes to empathy. I am not good at putting myself in other people's position because, truth be told, I would rather understand myself fully than understanding everybody else. I want to be able to adapt, but for me to be able to adapt and still keep myself within the conversation, I need to understand myself better than to understand others. That's not a bad thing. It's not even a selfish thing in my opinion. That's because I live by the code that the better you do, the better you feel, the more comfortable and secure you feel, the better of a version you can be, and the stronger of a hope you can provide. If you can deliver something confidently to other people without arrogance, without a Mr. or Mrs. Know-it-all type of attitude, the more relatable you become, the more value the advice and the approach that you have becomes sensible, but also it becomes more authentic because you represent yourself through and through, and you present your values in a way that you believe is the right way to present those values. That doesn't have to be in an alignment, it doesn't even have to be in an agreement, but it has to come with respect. The respect for one another. When respect is present, love have a easier path to grow. And when that grows, appreciation grows. And when appreciation grows, value becomes present. And when value is present, loyalty starts to form. And that's probably the biggest value that I believe life has. Because loyalty connects all of those things. Loyalty offers many things. It offers transparency. It offers everything that needs to be present to achieve all of these things that creates depth. That creates what I believe is probably the thing that we should be longing for the most. For me, love is great. Love is nice. Love is something that I want, but it is not something that I need to have. I would always go out of my way to rather have loyalty. I would always go out of my way to have trust. Because I do believe that you can love somebody that you don't trust. In fact, I believe that love and trust is the ultimate confusion. I think in many ways, what becomes the danger, becomes the misconception and the confusion is that we look at love and we tend to go, well, if I love someone, that must mean that I trust them. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. And I think the unfortunate reality is a lot of people are falling into that trap where they are they're so deep in their emotions. I think in many ways, trust is a great combination of it's a great combination of being rational, but it's also exceptionally emotional. I think it comes down to a mix of logic and feelings that correlate into one. I think trust is based on many ways what we truly want. That we want to elevate the people that we have, right? That we want to elevate the people that are so strongly represented in us that's the rationality, right? And I think that's where the confusion lies, that with a lot of people that would go, well, if I love this person, I trust them. I have plenty of people in my life that I love deeply, that where my loyalty runs to my own detriment. I have people that hurt me almost on the regular, not because they actively want to, but because they pure and simply don't know what their actions mean, what doesn't understand the repercussional effect of standing at shore and throwing rocks into the sea. But what they don't see is that they're sometimes hitting the ones who are in those waters trying to get into shore and reach them. And they're searching these waters for answers and diving, and all of a sudden one rock hits and another rock hits. And so when we finally get there, we are a little bit bruised, we're a little bit battered, but that doesn't mean that we love them any less. It doesn't mean that we don't value them. It will make us question whether or not it was worth the exploration and worth the journey to get to where we needed to, but it doesn't mean that we love them any less. And that is because we love them. So we believe and we hope that if we're patient enough, understanding enough, loyal enough, that one day we can trust that they understand the ripple effect that they're creating. It's like trying to see underwater, and the more that they throw stones into it, the ripple effect starts and the water becomes wavy and blurry, right? We're somewhat losing sight over the things that are important. We sometimes lose track of why we do the things that we do. Some people might say that I'm a fool. Some people might say that I'm seemingly callous and cold for being able to sit and say that I have people in my life that I don't trust. Maybe it's not really that maybe it's not necessarily that I don't trust them. Maybe it's actually I've used this phrasing before. It's gonna sound like one of the meanest things that you could say to someone, but that's the reason why I believe in accountability. That's the reason why I so deeply believe that communication and transparency is important. Because I can live with someone fucking up. I can live with someone hurting me. As long as I know that it's not intentional, that it's not malicious, that it's not because they're actively trying to do something where they don't care about the consequences, you know? If it's because you don't know better, if it's because it's a indication of your capacity levels. By the way, I'm so sorry for the quality of this video. Like, the auto drive features dog shit. I wanted some beautiful scenery of Japan, and the AI keeps smashing into everybody. Don't let it take it away from the core of his message. essentially the belief system that I have is if you're unintentionally doing things, you always deserve my loyalty and the trust that you can change that. And some people will have such a long way to go on those things, but if I can see that the words matches their actions, if I can see that the blueprint that they're laying in front of me is not total utter bullshit, that is not just a doodle of in the spurt moment drawing to try and get out of another bad position, another bad situation, I will give them the time that they need, because I've been offered that same branch of trust. I've been offered that same realm of patience, of love, of support. So how can I not? But you see, the difference is, and that's where I've said this many times and I'm stand on it, I'm not a good person. Because I can be exactly all those things. I can be callous and I can be cold. I have an innate ability to turn off my emotions when I want to. And it's not a pleasant thing. And I will say that it's gotten more difficult. Thankfully, I'm glad that it's more difficult, because it means that I don't give up. Because sometimes pride and arrogance gets in the way of who we truly are. And that's where the real read is difficult, right? Because you're either thinking that this person is a full-blown narcissist, but the truth is that for many years I did the same. I told people that I was going to change. I told people that I was going to be better, that I was going to do better, but I had no intention of doing it. I said all of those things and made up all those excuses to get them off my back, to get my own sense of justice for, like, don't tell me what to do. Right? And I didn't have it in me back then to tell people to fuck off. I didn't have it in me then to be able to tell people that they could go suck it, you know what? So I just laid it off and pretended that, yeah, whatever. Instead of just being real about it and telling them that, I appreciate bullshit. I appreciate the concern. I appreciate that you're willing to be vulnerable and tell me how you feel, but just because that's how you feel doesn't mean that that's how things are. And I think, that's the difference between love and just going with the flow. Like I love people that have core values and a core principle, and then it doesn't really matter to me why you have it, the origin of why you need to do what you do. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anybody an explanation to why you are the way that you are. I do firmly believe that. I think it's important that once you recognize that you go down that path and you decide to be that person, that you also own it. That's a heavy burden. It's it's a heavy responsibility to be able to say to somebody that will not move. I will not crack under pressure, even if it comes with the potential of losing you. And it is a selfish act, 100%, because you're not only doing it to protect yourself and the relationship that you're potentially about to lose, but it's also protection of you. It's the feeling of feeling abandoned because somebody cannot accept who you are, because they are refusing to meet you where you wish you could be met. That you're sitting back with this deep, heartfelt emotion that you're not good enough. It's a terrifying thing. Truly is one of the most heartbreaking things to sit and feel that people don't like you, that people don't care about you, that unless you give them this one thing that they want, but the one thing that you don't want to give, or one of the things you don't want to give, now you're going to lose them. Now your value has decreased and you're basically nothing to them. That it is enough for them to say, you know what, you seem all nice and stuff, but it's not what I want. And now you have to sit with that. You have to come to terms with the fact that, damn. So that's all it was worth. It's a really, really tough subject for me to talk about because it is rooted so deeply in so many things that I've gone through. And I think that's why I sympathize with the people who are different. I think that's why I'm attracted to the people who are different or unapologetically themselves, who would rather shake one on the chin and stand on their values than bending under the pressure and feeling like they can't be themselves. It's a really, really difficult spot to be. I know that I'm different, and I thrive of the fact that I'm different. I would say that I thrive within the knowledge that I'm not like everybody else. But it wasn't always like that, especially when I had to get into the real world, get out of my little fantasy box of substances and try to fit in. It took so much out of me, and there was so much expectation on me that I was cracking under the pressure quite a few times. Many times where I thought, I want to give up and run away and just go back to it. I want to go home. I had to look brothers in the eyes and say, you're not good for me right now. To look in an environment that made me survive, only to realize that it was the same thing that killed me. And having to make that decision and look at people that has been your entire life for 4 years and also made you think and feel that they were the only thing. Something I would never wish upon anyone to ever feel. If you understand that, if you relate to that burden, I am so sorry that you've had to go through that. I am truly sorry. But I will also say that hopefully you know how strong you are. Hopefully you know how valuable you are. Hopefully you feel with every fiber of your being that you're going in the right direction. Hopefully you sit back with the strength that you deserve, that what you represent and what you carry out is nothing short of value. Because it is. It really is. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I just wanted to say that it was so important for me that people understand that I'm not putting anybody in the spotlight that they don't want to be. I've said this many times and I will stand on that. If you feel hit, if you feel put in that position, chances are that it's you is not coming to me. If you feel like you're the one that I'm referring to, it's because I've tried to have a conversation with you. If you think that I'm airing dirty laundry, chances are you're the reason why they're not clean. I would never go out and speak on something that I believe can't be resolved. I would never go out and speak on something that I believe is harmful to the one that I'm talking to. Because chances are, if it's something that hits me so deeply, it is because it's something that resonates so hard with me that it hurts. But it also means that it's by someone that I love. It means that it is deeper than just a surface level relationship. And if it is based on love, trust me when I say I have no intention of hurting anybody. I'm a protective person, overprotective even. Anyways, I appreciate you stopping by and watching this video, taking your time to get to know me and understand me a little bit more. I hope you have an amazing day. And I hope that you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, wherever you are. Whenever you're watching this. Whatever time it may be. Have a blessed day. Have a good one. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.